Hi Floral friends, and welcome back to another Floral Observations. We are on to episode 3 of Full Bloom.
I can't believe it, we're just flying along. Today's episode is called the Bellflower Tower. Ooh. And we see our contestants in their first task, their personal task. They have to use grocery store flowers. They use $50 in grocery store flowers. So the flower room that they normally have is bagged up a little differently this time. It is done, with the bunches and the sleeves and everything.
See it in a grocery
Maurice
store.
goes and works the cash wrap. He checks them all out. And it's all about increasing the flower's perceived value that you have. And they have 2 hours in which to do this
Which
task.
is plenty.
Oh my god, for one design,
that's
so
$50.
Much time. For $50.
One thing that I have an issue with in this is it's not counting the container. It's not has any time.
And they're good containers. They're like accent decor containers.
Really high and expensive.
Rose, please go sit down. We're joined by our lovely 4-legged observer today. Rose, please lay down.
So starting off, we know that the prices are a little bit different. We are in the Midwest, so we know that our flowers are a little bit different price than what they're looking at.
I mean, a grocery store challenge, we love that. We're here.
We do that a lot. I love Trader Joe's.
Pretty much
flowers.
Every week.
We love Whole Foods flowers. If it's high quality, especially if I can see that American tag or that Canadian tag at a grocery store, I know it's still quality. And
I actually know
they
that
fall back really well.
For one of our local grocery stores, I won't say which one it is, they actually source all of their flowers from one of our local wholesalers.
Yeah.
And they get better buying power than I would individually, so I have no problems. I have made friends with their buyer, and I do know how to game that system because I have no problems playing those games.
So we've seen the $50. So keep in mind the prices are going to be different, the containers are going to be different, and they have plenty of time. So let's get into this personal
Let's do it. For the first one, we have Ace Berry's design. Go for it, Garrett.
I'm going to soft bloom this. There's nothing particularly wrong with it. However, I would love to see more style to it. It's fine. That's the issue I have. It's just fine. I do like there's an elevation of roses and I believe tulips. However, it's very basic flower shop to me.
It's got some carnations in here. I'm gonna give this a bloom too. I like it. It's not my favorite. But I can see the the ladies who lunch and things like that.
There's a customer that would love
exactly.
This,
So now we have Chantel. Personally, I'm gonna prune this. I don't like it. And I know where she's going. She's very much that Instagram style. But there's just things in here that don't work to me. The Ostrom area here, it just looks labored. It looks labored. And for this type of design, it's supposed to have an ease to it, and this does not give me that ease at all.
Matt knows I don't particularly love this style. I think that it's one of those trends that can finally die. It's so overdone, so overused. Some of her placements were odd to me, like the hydrangea, and then you have this space underneath it that had to be filled with mass. There is a whimsy and a level balance that has to go with this style to have everything breathe, and we will see that in future episodes. As you can see, this design, the judges loved, but they also, 2 of them, are trend designers. And so they're going to love Instagram popular trend styles. And so it's a bloom for me. You see it all over the Instagram. I don't love the color harmony and the placements.
Justin, I'll start with this one because it's very similar to the last one in a lot of ways in terms of color palette, even the flower usage that we're seeing here. I am going to bloom this one though because I think Justin is much more successful in the airiness, the placement of the airiness, the placement in certain flowers, even the basing that's going in here. This looks more effortless to me, and I know it actually probably, in my opinion, took a little bit more eye and decision in where to place this, but it has an effortless look to it. I think this is successful in this style. So bloom.
I bloom this also. I like that we have almost a base level of this beautiful pink, and then everything tiers a little bit off of each other all the way up, like Matt was saying. The balance is really good, but I can also see this in people's homes on a spring day. Just it looks gathered and placed in the vase. So I bloom this also.
Spencer, you go for it.
I am going to soft prune this. I don't hate the overall idea. I think that he did a really good job creating a tablescape effect to it of using all your stems and all your blooms. I do not love the mechanics of the centerpiece, and the balance is off for me. It's very like I got just random pieces and stuffed them in. So I have balance issues, but at the same time, I do appreciate the colors and the overall concept of it.
I think this is where Spencer's lack of experience in things like principles and elements of design came through.
Yeah.
I'm gonna prune this. There's things that I like about it. His color palette, I love. It stands out from the other ones, especially these beautiful tulips. I love the vase that he chose to use.
Absolutely.
I would have never have used it in the way that he chose to use it, though.
No.
To do this, I would see a beautiful pillar design coming out of it. You can do a little bit of placement throughout if you'd like, but you've got to keep that line really more, I feel like, true to the pillar format to be able to use a vase. To be able to use a vase like that. Sorry, folks. Yeah, it's a prune. So next, Kristen's.
Can I start with this one?
Yeah, go for it.
She's a prune. Kristen Baby. I've got a couple comments. We're changing our format a little bit. We're trying to be a little bit more precise.
To the point.
And when there's something that really gets us on the nerve or we love a lot, you're going to hear a little bit more about it. And so with this, there's a lot of opportunities. She has too much Soleil and not enough floral for me. I don't see perceived $50 value. And while I love marbling on specific flowers, I do not care for the marbling on these. I do, and Matt knows this, a lot of hand painted, a lot of things to orchid faces. The problem with marbling is it doesn't get underneath the fold, so it sits very flat. When you have marbling, you want it to look like stone and you want to have depth of movement. Is it cool? Yes. Is it done well? No. And with orchids, the edges get almost kind of etchy where you can tell that it didn't seal around it. And so, cool technique, completely wasted. We see Soleil with bite marks that's been painted gold. It's not enhancing to me.
I don't think that's bite marks. I think that's painting. I think that's like a leopard painting because it's up here too.
Well, I think it's gross because it looks like bite marks. Because that's what I can see. But it doesn't have balance. It has no good true color harmony. And the placements are just real aggressive.
I'm going to soft prune it. And I think you're a hard prune. I'm going to soft prune it. The marbling doesn't bother me as much as it bothers you. I think it is a cool effect. Or like yeah, exactly. The execution doesn't bother me as much. But because I think it's a cool effect. I love the carnations played with it, like the color pairing. I really like. I think it's kind of sophisticated. It's something that we've seen before, but it's, I feel like, twisted just a little bit in a way that I like. I agree with you in the Soleil, but it's a soft prune. It's not a
okay.
Yeah. Beth, go for it.
I love this. This is the style of design I do a lot. It's a lot what Matt's really been getting into more and more, and it is exploratory, deconstructed floral design. Take it apart, put it together, or see how 10 ways you can use something. Beth really showed her level of skill beyond AFD, beyond just being a designer with a lot of experience. She pushed the limits. The way that we have the crystal, that the container's not even attached to it except for a line. Very smart choices. This is a genius design. This is a shabloom to me because this is something I want. So
you heard it. You heard it. That's our first. Is that our first shabloom?
It's our second shabloom. Okay. You've already given
that's right. I did give a shabloom.
Yeah. This is my first shabloom. And it's for this. I'm
right here with you. This is a shabloom for me too. The flower choice that she used, the everything about it. I'm here for. I light up about it. So 2 shablooms.
Yeah.
Connor, I'll go ahead and start with this one since you started with the last one. I'm going to bloom this one. I love this. What's really funny is literally the day that this episode aired, Garrett and I were at the wholesaler together, and I saw this bowl, and I was like, "Ooh, I love that bowl. It's not right for what I'm doing right now, but I love that bowl. I want to work with it." And literally, we go home, or I go home later that day, and I turn Full Bloom on to watch it, and Connor has this bowl.
And we were like, the bowl's there!
So Bloom, not just for the bowl, because also I think that this is really successful. I also love that he has, they've talked so much about reflexing on this show, like almost beating the dead horse with it.
So much.
And I think a lot of times it's not even necessary, or like it's just done to be like, ooh, look what I did. And here I feel like it really conveys the message, like it really works to Connor's advantage, and in this design with this the delicate swoops and things like that. So this is a big bloom, a full bloom, not a show bloom, but this is a big bloom for me.
This is a strong bloom for me also. There are few people that I appreciate or I enjoy do this style. I've already said I don't love this style. I think it's beaten like a dead horse. However, there are people that do it, like Matt's mentor and person that got me into the industry, Nora. She does it in this very beautiful, selective, every single element has a reason way of doing it. And I think Connor does that really well. He uses the natural curves of stems. He has beautiful depth and layer, but how we have the pinks through the whites and the blushes pulls me through the design, and Connor does a beautiful job with the color and this style not being a mass of trash and just a ton of stuff, but everybody breathes. We have technique, but it's just enough, and I really love that. So big bloom.
We have Adams here. I'll go ahead and start with Adams. I'm going to soft bloom Adams, and that is for a couple of reasons. I like where Adam went. I love that Adam went completely. Adam, you can tell he's AIFD. He's an artist. He's trained, because he did what we do in competitions. You know, they go up, you go down. You know, he went a different route. He did this suspended technique. I agree. It does look a little tortured. One of the judges said that, and I do think, maybe the flower choice wasn't the best for it. Also, $50 Heliconia grocery store, unless that grocery store is in like Hawaii, maybe.
If it's in LA,
maybe
Miami, where you're getting, you can get prices like that when you're in a port or an area of. When you're in a port city or you're in a coastal town that is getting the product the first go. You don't have the shipping costs or the process costs. You can get more unique flowers for better price, but absolutely not are you getting ginger, heliconia, orchids, like that combination. So I think, to me, this is a bloom. There are other opportunities of the flowers. Of course, the tulips were a weird choice, but the style, fantastic. The thought process of, I know that I need something that is interesting enough, but isn't going to take away from the flowers. The color choice was really good with the paper.
It's beautiful. Like, this is, I feel like, even kind of a more beautiful part of the arrangement than the flowers are.
But when I look past the tulips and certain things, I can see the textures go very well. There are the tulips, there are opportunities, but I bloom this because it is floral artistry. Yeah.
Oh, we're here.
Team challenge time.
Team challenge. So we are representing our team challenge, which is a large-scale display. As always, they have to decorate the gates of either heaven or hell, as represented between, I guess, Heavenly Garrett over here and hellish me. So on Team Heaven, it was Chantel was our team leader for that. They loved her design in the first challenge. And she chose Adam, Justin, and Connor for her team. So go ahead and take it away.
Smart team choice.
Great team choice.
With this, she got to choose Heaven. When you have the choice of darker color palette, more color, or light, I think she went the easy route. This is the easiest thing. Hell can mean many different things. As someone that is really into fantasy, really into different cultures' thought of heavens and hells, this is easy. This is an easy color palette. And so we saw them struggle. And again, we see Chantel is not a very strong leader. When you work for yourself and not with others, that's a big thing. There are elements of this design I do like. I like the little keyhole, however, it's dark. Heaven ain't gonna have a hole into it where you're led into darkness. That's odd to me. I didn't hate these arrangements on the pedestals as much as the judges, only because if your team leader puts something there that blankly stops, he professionally knew it needed something on it. The pillars could have gone, and I think this would have been 10 times better. It's a prune for me. It goes back to our other challenge last episode where it's, here's a design, another one. The butterflies are nice. However, they don't relate to anything on the bottom or the
Yeah.
very top, so they're just kind of a toss in. So to me, this is a prune.
I mean, it's a prune for me too, and pretty much for all the same reasons. There's things that I like in the design, or that I would like to see, you know, in a lovely wedding shoot. But then once you compile them all together, it loses it. The best part of their design that they had going was this staircase, so that they were going to cover in baby's breath and stuff.
Yeah.
And then they ended up doing this over here. Why didn't like this should have been on the staircase? The staircase would have been it, because the staircase gives me heaven without any of this other, crap, for lack of better terms. Like, it's just tchotchkes.
And they are given a lot of access to props, and we could see handyman pushing things away.
It was poor time management.
Yeah.
It was poor time management, which really just reflects to the team. To the team
angel, they added a gate. The gate could have been something even more beautiful out here in front of this. There's opportunity.
Exactly. If you're looking dead on from the center, which is what this image is, and it is a fully, immersive design, but from the dead on center, this angel shouldn't be partly obscured.
Yeah.
Like, in no world of good design should
this would have been crazy, but I know that they had the lift, put the angel up in here, lighten it up, and then you have an angel greeting you into heaven. It pulls the story even more. But there's so much that we see that could be done.
And yeah. So, double prune.
Prune.
Team Hell.
I think I added 2 photos. I put the slides together. I know they're not great, but I believe there's 2 photos of this because of how they show it on the television. You don't see the carriage.
Okay.
I'll start.
Go for it.
Beth did a very good job with props and management. She stepped back as a leader, knowing Kristen is good with detailed eye far away. She utilized her team members.
Kristen's styling is really next level.
Yeah. And so I appreciate and prune this for the color usage, because I don't normally see blue carnations. And to think
prune?
I bloom it.
Okay, I was like, you appreciate it and prune. I was like, well, damn,
I appreciate
Mitch.
it and prune. Now, I bloom this for color usage, prop usage, and team. She was a good team leader. She actually, it's one of the first times we see everyone's skill set used properly. She trusted the boys on the top to listen to Kristen and move things where they saw fit. And then she also was still there to be like, we need more here. We need to take this away here. We need to move this wood and then have something behind it. So very good job, Beth.
Absolutely. I give them a bloom too. The top of the bell tower is, I think, they got that gargoyle up there. So you're not telling me that they couldn't get that angel up there on the other side. It's awesome. I think it's really successful that they didn't do like the whole ring around the top. They made it more like flamey. There were so many choices that they made that were just wise, and I think that all goes back to Beth's leadership. And I think in this, especially in this challenge, it really came down to a tale of better leadership. Oh, here's more of Beth's.
This is a really good example of the color and the usage of props. The flowers were at the forefront. I don't want to see wire mesh stuff with baby's breath again. We have seen it 3 weeks in a row now, and I have no time for it. And so, though she used props, you can see almost 10 times more blooms and flowers in color in their design.
So, is that the end of
this is our last
end of the slideshow?
So, did you bloom or prune this?
Oh, I bloomed this. This is a bloom. This is a bloom. This is a Beth. Well done, Team Beth.
Wonderful. And who is your bloom of the week?
It's pretty obvious. There was the Shabloom, which was Beth's personal design.
I completely agree. Skill, technical. The color harmony was good. She built up from whites and moved the color up. The use of wire, people can get messy with it, but she purposely nested in a way that it doesn't look messy. It looks very contorted, but in a thought out way.
And it was different from everyone else's.
She went up when everyone else went down.
Besides Adams.
Yeah, the 2 of them, they went left when people went right. They chose color harmonies that were very different. I don't think that the ones that won necessarily were the top. However, Beth's did deserve.
Yeah.
Chantel is the one that does go home this week. It comes down to team management. Look at how you're talking to your team, even at home, and evolve how you work as a unit or a team.
And I feel like she definitely tried to throw Adam under the bus. And I don't think that was very cool. No. In my opinion.
And Adam's one of my favorites because he is one of the team players. You tell him to do something, he's going to do it. He did No, he was on the bottom, and he knew things needed to be finished before they moved on to something else.
Exactly. Well, I mean, I think honestly their design would have been so much worse had Adam not done the things that she was complaining about.
Yeah.
She was like complaining that he put all those time into the things that went up on the pillars. Well, without those on the pillars, it would have been garbage, even more hot garbaggio. You know, like
the judges do comment that she could tell him to come down. That is the thing as a team leader, you need to lead. If you're done with him adding grass to the top, whether it looks nice or not, you bring him down.
You get the controls are on the bottom. You
tell
can
him to bring him down. It doesn't matter if he's halfway in the arrangement, he's coming down. And so that's another episode of Full Bloom. Tell us what you think in the comments.
It's very exciting, and we'll be back for another episode next Monday on the Floral.today YouTube channel, but then also tune in on the Floral.today Facebook channel every Friday at 3 o'clock Central Time when we go live for Floral Friday.
With multiple guests, we are lining up Full Bloom contestants to get their thoughts, do some designs, and just get to know them better. So we will catch you next Monday for another episode. Bye!
Bye!